we ready? 3, 2, 1. Welcome to another episode of the Tower 26B Race Ready Podcast. I'm Jim and Gerry here once again with Coach Jerry Rodriguez. Coach, how you doing?
You're making up for lost time, I can tell.
I've been saving up. May 20th with our last podcast. May 20th.
We've done one, I think, since the pandemic started.
I think we've had two.
March.
No, I don't want to correct you because you're coach. I'm just the side guy. I'm just the side gig here. We've done two. We're busy men, but here's the thing. I got a bone to pick with you.
Another one.
It never stops, these bones. All of a sudden, you come out with this book, Triathlon Swimming, Master the Art of Open Water Swimming, Tower 26 Method, and you forget about the little people.
Well, you know what? That's why I didn't realize we did two podcasts, because I had no work to do for that one. You did all the prep, and that's why I thought we only had one podcast. So thank you, by the way, for all the work you did on that podcast.
Well, you know,
I'm trying to soften up the beating that you want to give me right now.
Now, that podcast has over 10,000 downloads in the last month, which is huge. So people have got to be buying this book. Do we have any word on what the sales is doing? How's it going?
You know what's shocking, Jim, is that...
And I'm not trying to make this an infomercial. I'm really interested, because I was looking at the stats, and I was like, holy cow, we have a lot of downloads on this episode.
Well, I'm shocked because I didn't realize we had two episodes. I thought we just had one. But from March of this year, so 5 months have gone by, March, April, May, June, 6 months. We're still doing over 10,000 downloads every month, which means, Jim, all the great work you've done over the last few years in putting these podcasts together, new folks are coming in and listening, and some are re-listening because we haven't put out much content in 2 months. So thank you for all your good work.
When you're entertaining, you're entertaining. You can't deny the fact. We're an entertaining duo. The Batman and Robin of triathlon swimming.
Which one's a Robin?
I'm going to take one for the team. I'm Robin. You're obviously Batman. You make the calls. But hey, listen. So we're on Zoom again. We're not in person. We have a couple guests in studio, not in studio, in Zoom studio. And I'm going to introduce them. Then I'm going to get on to my next part of this Zoom rant I'm about to go on here. But we got Christophe Balestra. Christophe, you're with us. You are a personality on this podcast now instead of the guy behind the scenes pushing all the buttons. We're going to get into you in a little bit, but welcome to the show. It's exciting to have your mug and your vocal tones on for occasion.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to be here, like on camera this time. Usually I'm the ones like who's been, as you say, like pushing the buttons and making sure like it's recording well. But I don't need to do anything now with Zoom. It just happens automatically.
All you have to do is your hair, because let me tell you something, Jared. I don't know. All you guys are listening at home. You wish you had hair like this guy. You did your hair for this, and you're getting a weekly haircut, unlike myself.
That's my wife. My wife cut my hair.
I think we need to all go have Christophe chop our hair off a little bit, because I definitely have quarantine flow going.
Yeah, I chose.
It looks good. Also in studio, this is Coach Melgaard. What is she for Tower 26? She's our savior of Tower 26, the COO.
She's everything. I mean, Megan has been a lifesaver. Coach
Melgaard. Coach, how you doing?
Doing great. Just trying to keep up with you guys. It's really fun and fast. It's great.
She tells us where to be and when to be there, and if our ass is not there, Jared, we hear it from her, huh?
Well, it's like this podcast. In fact, we've been talking about doing it, and finally she just made it happen today.
So what I would like is if all of us were in the same room right now, but that's not possible. All these Zoom calls, I'm seeing Zoom calls, all these guys. Why is it that every single guy or woman has a bookshelf behind them in these Zoom interviews? Have you noticed this, Jerry?
Isn't that funny? They all have a bookshelf promoting something, right?
Yeah. So I don't have room for a bookshelf, so I'm just going to sit here like this the rest of the show with my triathlon swimming book behind me.
You're such a prop guy. I love it. Thank you.
I'm a prop comic, but no, every single, and then you got dogs running in, you got people barking in the background, guys yelling at their wives. It's crazy what's going on in these Zoom calls.
I got an email, Jim, 2 days ago from one of the coaches that I talked about in that book. I asked the publisher to send him a copy of the book. So he received it, and I haven't seen Rick this is Rick Gayton, who was one of my coaches in the early to mid 80s. In fact, Kristoff, in the Palisades, when it was the old pool, up there before that was sort of leveled over. And Rick is the one who's taught me a whole lot of the things that I currently know that I've been able to pass along. But he got a chance to review the book and sent a note, and very complimentary note, and so forth and so on. So Rick, who at times listens to some of these, Rick, thank you, and thanks for your inspiration over the years. This was 1984 when I started swimming with Rick.
Was Rick in the picture that Martin posted on Facebook last week?
Yeah, yes, he was.
Did you guys see this picture? Jack Diesel, Jerry Rodriguez. That was Hot Jerry. I remember back in our first 10 episodes, some woman wrote in and said, hey, we're going to call him Hot Jerry from now on because that dude, he's smoke show. That was Hot Jerry. Holy cow. Can we get back to that physique? That
was way back when. We're talking 35 years ago.
Good looking crew. And that was the old Pally Pool. So good stuff.
By the way, there was a couple of guys in that photo that's the old Pally crew, like you're saying, that went on to create the TV series Baywatch.
Really?
Yes. In fact, in that photo, I'm holding up a photo of, I don't know if you noticed.
No, I didn't see that.
I'm holding up a photo of somebody, and that somebody is Greg Bonan, which is the executive producer of Baywatch. He created Baywatch.
So you are an inspiration for Baywatch.
No, I wasn't.
Does this mean we should start calling you Mitch?
You call me whatever you like. You're the boss.
Hasselhoff. We'll start calling you the Hoff, the Rod. All right, so let's get past all this mumbo jumbo. Let's get to the meat of the episode. First off, what did we speak about last episode, Jerry? Let's sell yourself a little bit.
Well, thanks to Megan. Megan and you set up the episode with an interview with myself and Emma Kate. And it was great. I mean, I have no work to do for the show, thanks to you guys. And just answered a bunch of questions, so did Emma Kate. And that's what we did last episode.
Yeah, very informative episode. We spoke a lot about the book and where the inspirations came from the book. So if you guys haven't listened to that, that's episode number 75. We have a ton of downloads on that one. But this episode, what are we going to get into?
Well, we have a number of things, Jim. I mean, Megan, why don't you kind of give us the rundown there, since you helped put that together for us?
Sure thing. And thank you guys so much for having me on, and also for being able to jump into the Tower 26 team on this side. So it's really a blast. So moving forward with this.
Hang on. Isn't it nice to have a little estrogen on this show? It's nice to have a woman pulling the strings on this. It's about time we had somebody to keep us in line.
Yes.
As you can tell, she's keeping me in line really well right now.
Stop talking, Jim. My turn. So the show flow today, we're going to catch up over the last few months. We've been missing swimming. So where are we now at this point? What are some of the things that we're doing? And we're going to talk to Kristoff about a really cool program called Motionysis that he built, this software. And it analyzes both bike and swim. So I know we've been talking Tower 26 for 2 years now, maybe, going on, about our underwater swim video analysis. So thanks to Christophe and Coach Jack, we now have it ready to roll out here in the next couple of weeks.
This is exciting news, because I said Hot Jerry was in the first 10 episodes. I think we spoke about swim video analysis in the first 10 episodes, Jerry. That's 3 years ago.
This is one of those carrots that's been dangled out there forever, and so many missteps along the way.
It took a woman to come in and get things done.
Get crap organized and make it happen. So Megan, thank you.
Well, we have two people on the show today that get things done, Kristoff and Megan. So between the two of them, there should be some good things accomplished in this episode.
So Jim, I forgot to mention when you were going through sort of the countries and the background and the episodes and so on, once we started up. So I did a little homework, and would you happen to know, or I'll give you a guess, what is the most listened to episode?
Oh, well, I know it isn't the Presence episode, because no one listened to that one. But I don't know, maybe our first episode? I haven't looked it up.
So the most listened to episode for a period of time was the one with Lucy Charles, for obvious reasons, right? I mean, he's a big name and well-liked personality in the sport, terrific athlete. And we did that whole review on her stroke analysis with her husband. So that was our most listened to episode. That's now dropped to 4th. You know who's leading the list now? It's your old cycling buddy who's been in studio a couple of times. Cameron Worth.
That guy gets around. I mean, there is not a podcast he's not on, but you know what? It's ours that gets all the publicity for him.
He took the leaders poll, and interestingly, the second most listened to one is the one, and I wonder how much of this has to do with the name that you came up with. You're doing it all wrong.
Doing it all wrong, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's my middle name, is I'm doing it all wrong. I go to the pool, Rodriguez says, "You're doing it all wrong," is here, ready to swim again.
Yeah, that's why we
That's
put you in the
interesting. You
book.
know what? I did notice that when I was looking at the stats earlier in the week, because that's all I do. I just sit there and scroll stats all day long, stats of our podcast. But I did notice You're Doing It All Wrong was way up there. And it must be something in that title. So we got to bring more titles out like that, like You Stink, or, like, what the hell did you do with your hair last week? Things that put a derogatory tone into the title and people listen to it.
That's the world we're in today, boy. You just say negative stuff and it gets attention.
Yep, exactly. But hey, you know what? I didn't say anything about the countries, but I meant to mention the countries at the top of the show. Germany's number 10 right now. So we got a ton of listeners in Germany, but knocking on the door right there in competition to get in that top 10, Sweden, New Zealand, Belgium, Italy, Singapore, and the Ruskies, the Russians, are right there. Everybody's looking to get in the top 10 with our listenership, even though we haven't had a show in 2 months.
The Russians want to get in everywhere, don't they?
You know what?
We don't do politics here, but they're knocking on the door everywhere.
No politics. But after this episode, France is going to be up there in the top 1 to 3, because a huge name in France is the guy that's right under you in my Zoom screen, Christophe Balestra. Kristoff, what's new with you in this pandemic world?
Not much. Just being just training and programming and enjoying my time with my family. I mean, that's it.
So we did a workout yesterday, Jer, that we've done a couple times leading. So what we do is with our triathlon training program, we have a series of workouts that we prescribe every week. And several of those workouts are key sessions. Just like we do in the swim, we have key sessions in the bike as well. So we had a key session that we've hit. I think it's our 3rd time with it. And Kristoff, we compared his stats yesterday's session versus the one he did back in April. And Kristoff, do you remember what exactly that progression was, session to session, in heart rate and power?
Yeah, we did that workout. That was kind of hard. And I did about 6 or 7 weeks ago, was like the average heart rate was 144 and the max was 170. And we did it again on Tuesday. And I averaged like 138, which is like 6 bits under. And max was 162, which is 8 bits under for the same session. So I think it means like I'm more fit than I was like a few weeks back.
And that's the thing that Kristoff is doing as an example of, our athletes who have been zoned in on making something of this quarantine, as opposed to, eating Oreos every night and, getting in a scrap out in the courtyard and getting a tattoo with, giving a tattoo with their pen. I'm giving examples of people in jail right now. They're actually making something of this quarantine. They're coming out of it stronger and fitter than ever. And when we see a side-by-side analysis of session 6 weeks ago versus the session this week and that type of gains here, that's what excites me as a coach, huh?
Oh, it's been terrific.
Yeah,
it's good to see what Kristoff has done.
Yeah, but we're totally in tune with we're not overdoing it. We're giving him recovery every 3 to 4 weeks. We're giving him a recovery week, giving his body time to adapt. So the pedal isn't down all the time, but it's down most of the time. But that's bringing me to exciting times right now because, Jer, we're back in the pool. We've been back in the pool for what, now 6 weeks now, is it?
Since July 1, yes.
Yeah, so a lot of athletes, the pool's open July 1st for a lot of athletes around the country, around the world. And we started our swim subscription plan as well for those athletes, but our remote athletes have started swimming at El Segundo Pool. What have you done in those past 6 weeks in building their program up until where we're at right now?
Well, you got to figure, Jim, if it's one time the entire world became in sync, we'd get notes every so often, especially from Australia, that they're not in sync with our program because their races are at a bulk of their races are at a different time of the season than ours. And could we sync our program to them, so forth and so on? Well, we didn't have to worry about any of that any longer. The pandemic put everyone in sync, meaning pools were closed worldwide for the most part. Most folks weren't able to swim or do anything. And once pools started reopening, and in our case, it was July, 1st of July, and I recognize that's at different times for different cities or states or countries around the world. But for the most part, folks went several months without any swimming, zero, nothing. So we started back very easy. And in fact, Jim, one of the things we talked about in prior episodes, a low value session would be a continuous 30-minute swim, right? Well, guess what? That could be a high value session if you hadn't swum at all for 10 to 12 weeks, like many folks didn't. So we started very easy. The first 3 weeks, remember, 6 to 10 sessions, 10 sessions for adaptation. Very, very easy. There's no session over an hour. Most were 45 minutes to 60 minutes long. And then we built and progressed slowly over the last 6 weeks until finally we got into concert with you, because you've been doing your bike and run sessions, triathlon workouts, which I'm sure we'll get into in a moment. But we finally got in sync so we can be at sort of the same level of intensities. But we graduated the plan over the last 6 weeks.
And that's what, you had it well thought out and you built into it. Now, if an athlete, their pool just opened and they say, hey, I want to be on the Tower 26 swim subscription program, but my pool just opened. How do I get back into the pool and start swimming with you guys? What would be your best advice for that athlete?
So they'd hop right into the program. All they would simply do is trim back the intensity levels. We remember when we started off, Jim, we weren't doing anything above 75% effort for the first week. And then we sprinkled in a few things at maybe 80% effort. And now we are obviously at higher outputs at certain spots during selected workouts. So someone now starting off, all they would do is take the existing workout and they would trim the effort levels back, rather than like today, one of the workout we did this morning that you showed up at.
Oh, it was amazing swim. I mean, I was just feeling the water like I've never felt before. It was just.
That bit of silence was for Jim calling me last night at 9 o'clock saying, I'll see you tomorrow morning. And that never happened.
Didn't happen.
Yeah. So as you
I had a baby. I have a baby at home, brand new baby at home.
I'll start blaming Madeline. Yeah, we're gonna save this thing to play it back for her.
Back at 12 and a half hours, she's sleeping every night. It's amazing.
It's wonderful.
Well, the day March 16th, I said, this is the last good night of sleep I'm gonna have in my entire life. Little did I know that I have a baby that just sleeps more than any other human ever to live on this planet. But sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, but where were we?
Who knows? So they're getting into it, scale the efforts back. And I say that too about the athletes. What we did at the beginning of the quarantine is we said, what are our athletes going to do? We need athletes to have a routine. So we launched our triathlon training program just to give athletes a routine. It's not as in-depth as one-on-one coaching, but it gives athletes a routine to do through coached workouts, through several bike workouts a week, several coached run workouts a week, gives them a training peak schedule to follow along with. And we started out conservative and we've built into it over the few months. And now, I mean, it's rolling. We're getting, 5-6 signups a week from athletes from all over the world signing up for this plan. And obviously they're not at the same fitness level for the athletes that have been with us since March. So I'm constantly stressing these athletes, okay, even though the TSS on Kristoff's ride that he was speaking about earlier, if the TSS was, 80 on that one, I want your TSS to be 60. So we definitely have to scale back that effort, and eventually you'll get up to speed with the rest of the group.
And what is TSS?
Training stress score. So each workout is assigned a TSS based on how intense the workout is. The lower the TSS, the lighter the workout.
So anyone starting off new, which was your question, whether it's in our swim plan, which this is mainly a swimming podcast, but we've now added in running and riding. So whether they're coming into our swim program or they're coming in, Jim, to your bike and run and overall triathlon program, certainly you would just scale the efforts back. And presently, none of the sessions are very long. So it's just a matter of effort scaling. They could certainly handle the duration of the session.
Yeah, because we're capping them in an hour for most of the workouts. I mean, my weekend workouts are a little more volume, but for the most part, the workouts during the week are an hour, which you can knock out and move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So that's that. So remember, coaching.tower26.com, training.tower26.com. Go check all that stuff out. Let's get into the meat of this episode, Jer. How does that sound?
Yes,
ready to
absolutely.
get into this?
Let's get in with this.
You know what we do now? We just wipe our hands clean and we'll let these two take it.
Yes.
I don't know anything about what we're about to speak about. So let's get Megan on screen here. I don't know what I think she's brushing her teeth or something.
Well, why don't we do a little minute or two on Kristoff's background before we get started? Why don't you take care of that?
We're going to do that.
Okay, gotcha.
Whose show is this?
I'm sorry.
No, I'm kidding with you. Christophe Balestra. Christophe, how you doing?
Good.
Okay, I already asked you how you're doing 3 times, so this is the 4th time.
Yeah.
So let's give a little bit. So you are a programmer extraordinaire. Can I tell you that? Jared, let me tell you this. Meg, let me tell you this. So I have a friend, and his wife works with my wife, and he is a programmer at hey, Meg, where does Brian?
He's a producer at Insomniac. He's a producer at Insomniac.
He's a producer at Insomniac Games, which makes Marvel games. It's a pretty big name in the video game industry. So I was talking to him at one of the premieres because Meg and I go to all the premieres, red carpet, no big deal. And I said, yeah, I train with this gentleman who's, he says he's a video game producer. I don't know what, or, programmer. I don't really know anything about it. And he goes, oh yeah, what's his name? I said, oh, Kristoff. He goes, wait, Kristoff? Kristoff who? I go, Christophe Balestra. He goes, wait, you know Christophe Balestra? I was like, yeah, I pretty much tell him what to do every day of his life. He goes, there is no way you know Kristoff. And I was, yeah, I'm good buddies with him. So needless to say, this guy's a big name in the video game industry. Is that right, Kristoff?
By the sound of it, yeah.
Don't be humble.
Like there's at least one person that knows who I am in the video game industry. So, sounds like
so I told this story to him, and he's like, "Wait, let me show you something." It's in France. He's going up. You're coming up the subway tunnel. He comes up the subway tunnel, looks at the side of a building, and there is what is that poster? Like probably 200 feet.
Two-story tall.
2-story tall poster of this guy on the side of the building. He's a big name, all right? So that's what I'm saying. We're going to get all these programmers and video game nerds listening to our podcast just because Kristoff's on here. So that's what we're selling this as, Jer.
Probably, I think it's going to happen, yeah.
So how did you get into this? What happened with programming? Did you realize when you were 3 years old, hey, I know my way around a computer? Or what was the whole genesis of this?
When I was a kid, I loved playing with Lego. I did a lot of that. Then I sold my Lego to buy a BMX. I did a lot of BMX for a while. And then I sold my BMX to buy a computer when I was 16. And then after that, I was hooked and I started just programming, and it became just my thing. Then I don't think I was really great at school, and I would rather like spend my time just learning about kind of like controlling a computer and like doing stuff with it, which was really just a lot of stress for my dad at the time, but I think I turned it around and it just became my job.
So you got into it, and what led you to Naughty Dog? How did you start Naughty Dog?
I mean, I was back in France. I had my own company for like 4 or 5 years, and then I mean, it was a small company. It was not gonna survive for a long time. And then I sent my resume to the company I was dreaming of working for, and it was Naughty Dog. And then I sent them my resume, and I ended up getting the job there, and as a gameplay programmer. And then 3 or 4 years after that, I became the co-president of the company because the co-founders left, and I was asked if I was interested in taking the job of like managing the company with another guy, and I said yes. And then we've been pretty successful at selling some bunch of games. So
what are some of the games you guys produce that listeners would know?
Crash Bandicoot, Uncharted, Jack and Daxter before that, and more recently The Last of Us. So I didn't ship the last one because I actually I left Naughty Dog like 3 years ago. Yeah, no, it was super interesting, and just it's good to work with people who are talented and passionate about just making great games.
You know what's funny is you're making these games, you're developing all these games, but you balance it out with such an active lifestyle. Whereas a lot of people who play these games, go to buy these games, they just sit in front of the computer and play these games all day and don't realize, hey, I can get outside and be a kick-ass triathlete just like Kristoff has done. So you need to be like, hey, don't just sit there all day, go train and then come back and play those games.
Yeah, well, I started running because I just wanted something quick I could do out of the door. And then I think because I didn't have a lot of time, and I think I made all the mistakes possible with running, and I got injured multiple times. And I'm like, okay, I was like, I need to find something a little more balanced. And that's why I just started thinking about doing triathlon, because I felt like that would be just not just running, and it would be, and I loved being on my BMX when I was a kid. So so I was like, that sounds like fun. I wasn't sure about swimming, but I was, I
And
guess,
how long
okay
ago,
with it.
how long ago did you get into triathlon?
That was probably, I would say, 8 years ago now, or something like that. Yeah, 9 years ago. Yeah.
And then what was your progression in the meeting Gerry at Tower 26? How did you start swimming with us?
I was at the same pool. I was swimming by myself for a long time. I was a little bit nervous about going with Tower 26 because it looked very organized, very fast from the outside, from like my point of view. And then I wasn't sure if I would be just a good fit for it. And then one day I just decided just to join, and I say, oh, well, we'll see if I crumble. Well, too bad, but
Wow.
I'll give it a shot. And it was rough the first couple times, but then after that, I just hang on, and it was all right.
So Gerry, when you first saw this Frenchman come into the pool, were you like, "Oh, Frenchies, I can't stand these guys. Get out of here." Or what was your thought?
You know, I used to see Kristoff actually swimming in the lap lanes over there, and to me, and I could tell he was a triathlete, and he was just doing what many typical triathletes do who don't know anything about swimming. Is he would do a bunch of drills for a while, and all those catch-up drills, and then he would do some swimming, and it was just sort of workouts that weren't going to optimize his performance. So once he decided to make the shift over, then it was like, okay, finally, this guy's joined in.
You're standing at the end of his lane, dropping your card. Just every session, there'd be 15 Gerry Rodriguez business cards at the end of his lane.
Yeah, you know, that's who I am.
So he starts swimming with us. When did you realize he was the mastermind of programming? Pretty much he could rule the world as a programmer. So when did you realize he's somebody who would be a major benefit to what we wanted to achieve here?
So I knew he was programming, but I didn't know much of the detail. And then in coaching him, you can just tell Kristoff is very diligent. He's extremely present. And of course, his progression went from 36 or 37 minutes for half Ironman to 30 minutes in a pretty fast time, broken hour for an Ironman. I mean, but that came with his, drive and desire. And of course, the time that he put in and consistency and all those types of things. And it wasn't until Dan Markey, Jim, who you know obviously, heard what I was trying to do with our subscription program, and I had probably spoken to a handful of programmers by then. And Dan either told Kristoff what we were trying to do or whatever it was, and Kristoff came to me and said, here's what I've done, and keep it under the radar, but I'm retiring in 30 days, and if you're interested, I could help. And I'm like, dude, I don't think you can do what we need. I'm just kidding.
You don't have the skills for us.
You don't have the skills for. And fast forward,
this is Tower 26. This isn't Tower 25.
Exactly. And what would probably take 6 months to put together, Kristoff got it done in pretty much 30 days.
And that's what the amazing thing is about it. We're going to stop patting his back. And it's like we ask him to do something, and he's like, okay, 2 seconds later, it's done.
But after that, Jim, that is what I got to find out about Kristoff's reputation in the industry. What would take other programmers, and I don't know anything, Kristoff, I apologize about the specifics of gaming programming, but some normal protocol that could take 3 or 4 months to get done, Kristoff could have done these things in a couple of weeks, and it would blow all these other programmers' minds at how could this guy do this? And it's the reputation that he garnered within his industry. So I wasn't surprised to see he would build out our program for us in a relatively short time.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm way smarter than how I wanted it done. I mean, I had some ideas of how I wanted it done, but how about trying this way? And it was way more clearly laid out.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely brought a lot. I mean, it's his baby, so it's a good thing. But I mean, one time we have our comment section, and we were using a third-party app for the comment section. And he said, I don't like the way this is going. I don't like the way it looks. I'm going to build my own. It was like the next day he had a whole app, a whole comment section built from scratch.
And tailored exactly to our needs. Everything that we wanted in there, which the other software couldn't do, which is a software that many folks use, many other entities use it, but he just enhanced it and made it specific to our needs.
So for all you guys on this,
well, I mean, I want to jump in. I mean, the biggest thing about being a good programmer is just to listen to like what people want to create. And I spent a lot of time talking with Gerry about the experience like he wanted just to provide to people, and kind of like making sure like the vibe that was at the pool was somehow replicated just into the website, so that so I mean, there's like the technical aspect of it, but it's just, I mean, a lot of like what the website is a lot coming from Gerry. He didn't say exactly do those things this way, but like the way he's been teaching swimming, I was just taking that as the framework, just to try just to make the website mirror that as much as possible. So I mean, the quality of it is not just me doing it; it's also like just the quality of like what Gerry has created, and that was like those were the foundations just to create something that was good. Without those foundations, there would be no website.
You're truly an artist, man. Truly an artist. But hey, let's get into why you're here right now. Not only for your good looks and your beautiful tones and all that. So you developed your newest project. You've been developing a motion analysis system called Motionysis, right? Motionysis.
Motionysis, yeah.
Motionysis.
It's like for like it's the analysis of motion.
Okay. Oh, so hence
yeah.
Motionysis. It all makes sense. It all comes together now. It's like, where do you get that name? But there you go.
See?
Hey, not the smartest guy over here. I'm not a programmer. I'm not an artist. I'm actually just a voice.
I thought you were a programmer.
I do program in Zwift.
You programmed in Zwift.
So, hey, let's back up for a second. I do all the Zwift workouts, and I program the Zwift workouts. So I said to Kristoff, I'm like, oh, I'm programming the Zwift workouts. No, you are not programming the Zwift workouts. You are not a programmer. He was so insulted that I said I was a programmer.
Well, and you told me that we were doing a swim set. I was about just to leave the wall, and I was just
No, he was so insulted that I might be programming a workout. No, you're not a programmer. You're writing in comments. That's all you're doing. I'm not a programmer, guys. Let's get beyond that. Come on, let's stop dissing me. You know, that's obviously what this show's about, is making fun of Jim. But hey, can we get into motion assist and what it is first off, and then break it down as to how it's going to help our swim video analysis? So Meg, how are we going to do this? What are we going to do? We're going to show the screen share Kristoff's screen and kind of show what it is from a bike fitting perspective, and then relate it to our swim analysis. How does that sound? Now, this is an audio podcast. We get most of our downloads audio wise, so we have to be very descriptive in what we're doing on the video. Do we get this? Descriptive, Meg.
You got it, boss.
Kristoff. It's not descriptive enough. I'm going to jump in and describe.
Okay.
Gerry, are you lost during all this? Do you know what we're doing?
I'm with you. I'm with you, my man.
Got it all. Okay, let's share the screen. If you guys want to see what we're doing here, we're going to post this on the Tower 26 Facebook page as well as YouTube. It's not live right now, so don't try and go there. Not sure how that would work out since it's not live, but it's going to be on the Facebook page as well as on YouTube, so you can go to Tower 26 YouTube and see what we're doing right now. So share the screen. Kristoff, can you share your screen and kind of show what motion assist is, guide us through it, and how it's going to help coaches, bike fitters, athletes with a better bike fit?
Okay. Do you see my screen now, or?
Yeah, that's our buddy right there. This is Cam Worth.
Cam Worth.
Yeah, that's our number one podcast guest.
You see, I put a picture. I asked him if it was okay for me to use this picture, and he said yes.
He shows up everywhere. How could it not be okay? Every single podcast, every interview is Cam Worth. It just shows triathlon needs more personality. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
One guy with personality is on every single outlet.
So anyway,
keep going? I can keep going.
No, that's fine. That's
I know you can. Shut up. Mute.
I know you can. Okay, so I mean, I created this because I was interested in myself in bike fitting, and I created another project which is called the Obsessed Triathlete, and it was done out of frustrations also, like because it was really hard to find like Ironman results, so I created that as well. So. It kind of like that was my starting point with this as well. I think comfort on the bike is super important. I think you might want to talk about it, Jim, but like if you're not comfortable, it would be hard just to go for like 5 hours on the bike. So
yeah, you see people that want to get super aggressive positions and they can't hold it for 10 minutes, let alone 5 hours, and it ultimately ends up being useless. I mean, comfort's the number one thing.
Yeah, so I just wanted to find a way to document if I make changes, and I kind of realized like it could also be a tool for not just bike fitting, but for like running analysis, swimming analysis, golf, whatever. I mean, lifting weights, and like there's a lot of things you can measure when you're doing different sports. So anyway, so the concept is like you can just upload your an image or a video of you that you film on the side. I even have some bike fit guidelines, so you can kind of like have some rules of how to make good videos of yourself, and like because you don't want to you want to have your cycling shoes on and like the real thing, like not just like doing with barefoot or whatever. So it's like, anyway, so I just put some guidelines in there. And then the concept is just like, you can just have you have a bunch of tools where you can draw on top of like the image that you have uploaded of yourself. And then you can just draw lines just to kind of like measure stuff, or like angle the image, or like take measurements of angles. So I just added a line here, then you can move that, but that's not super necessarily the most interesting. You can just take an angle of like cycling. Usually like there is just something about this angle here, and you can kind of see how like the angle of your back angle is, or like just your you can also look at your hip angles compared to the bottom bracket. There's a lot of things that you might want to calculate that could be useful. I also have like things where you can just add a complete rider, and you can kind of like look at the angles of like just by clicking, and then you have like the wrist, elbow, shoulder, hip, knee, and ankle, and you can kind of like look at your angles. So you can, as you make changes to your bike fit and you film yourself, you can see how things are like changing, and then and kind of like you have a way to measure that, or like if you want to also take measurements of your bike, you can as well. I have something that's called a ruler here, where you can say, okay, let's assume that's 100 centimeters. Jim, you know, centimeter, yeah. It's fine.
What is this? I've never heard that term before. Centimeter?
Okay. Well, I have options for like inches and feet.
Yeah,
and
inches.
Yards.
That's what I go in. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't do any
but anyway,
European stuff.
Exactly. So if you have a reference here, like then you can just kind of like also take those lines and just take measurements of like let's say you want to know like the distance between here and here. And then it will tell you like
so the aero pad and the saddle. Yeah
exactly. And when you if you have a reference length, then you can just use that and just take a bunch of measurements. So some you can take like a picture of your bike, and then kind of like you have a reference point and just take all the measurements. So if you get a new bike, then you can just replicate all those measurements if you didn't have to if you didn't take measurements at the time of your bike. So things like that, just you can do, and you can kind of like, you can also more like for like, I guess for the swimming analysis, you can also kind of like circle things just to kind of like show, just highlight something specifically, and then you can also have like some options just to kind of like fill it, or just like even just to just really highlight something and just like make it so that you really show like what's going on there. And then for the swimming analysis, also something very useful is something where you can have a magnifier. So if you look at the beautiful like Cameron Worth's face, then you can just like make it bigger. And then if you want just to zoom on someone's like hand entry or like whatever, you can just kind of like show that as well.
So you're zooming right in, you're getting a major magnified view of that specific area.
Exactly. So just kind of like just to really point something out, just it also becomes very, very useful. You can also have some text in there, and then you can type, hey, Cam, and then I would just kind of like add just some text as well in there, so that if you want to have some notes directly into the image or into the video, you can do that. So that's mainly what Motionysis is about. It also can detect people. So if you hit like this button, it will just compute and like detect directly like where is the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder, the hip, knee, and the ankle on the side view. I don't know if it works well in water because there's a lot of noise with all the just bubbles and everything. So, but it works pretty well with a picture like this. And then you can share also those images that you upload. So if I take an image like let's say I take this image here, every image or video gets a unique URL like in YouTube, and you can share that and send it just to friends. They're gonna have to create an account, and then you can just kind of like add comments also to it. So like if you want just to do a swim analysis, you could kind of like highlight some stuff and like comment on it. So let's say you can just click on it and it will just add like the comment, just comment here, and then you just it will save the image that it was on, and it would just you add the comment, and it would just add the comment so like someone else can just see it later, and you can just reply to the comment and so forth and so on. So you can have a conversation if you use that as a tool to communicate with someone that's where you're doing like an analysis like remotely. So that could also be useful. I made a tutorial video too, so that people can kind of like see how to make it work. And I got also from our friend Jim Menton at Eero, who gave me some numbers and guidelines for like for bike fitting and angles and stuff. So he provided that to me, and I just put that in for people to have some kind of like basic knowledge about like bike fitting. So
who do you see using this? Who do you see using this besides our swim video analysis? Is it coaches? Is it individual athletes? Who do you want? Who's your market for this one?
Well, yeah, I think just like bike fitters can definitely use it, and I know some bike fitters have been using it as their main tool just to do bike fits at their studio or remotely. Yeah, if you want to do swim analysis, same thing. And I mean, and just people who are just interested in just like getting to just learn about bike fitting or learn about just like swimming or running, and like who want just to technically improve, and they are just interested in kind of like learning. The tool doesn't give you like it doesn't tell you what to do and what to fix, but it will give you like a way just to document everything and just to compare yourself, also to see what works and what doesn't. And everybody is different. I mean, I'm sure like in swimming, we all move in different ways in the water, like in the same way on the bike. But I found it interesting just to also have that tool available, so that to look at what other people are doing and like just kind of like compare and just see if there are like things that keep coming back. And there are like few things that keep coming back that once you measure, they're like just way more obvious than just looking at a picture. So so yeah, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, as a coach, I think this is such a valuable tool in every athlete I have. They're all, everybody's riding, and then most of the time I don't see exactly the way they look until I see them in person riding, which everybody wants to ride with the big guy, and I only have so much time in the day. So now it's going to be like, send me a picture from the side. I can look at all these angles and make sure you don't look like a nudnik when you're riding, because you're representing me. And if you look like an idiot out there, then I look like an idiot. So I can use this. Now, if I was a coach, bike fitter, and I wanted to use this, how would I go about getting in touch with it? Is it
actually, I mean, Jim, we did like use it with you on your bike fit, and I had a couple of people who came to me just to help them with their bike fit. I'm not a bike fitter, but just I've got interested in it, so I had to learn about it. And like so even between friends, if you want to do bike fitting and you want just to work on it, then it's a good tool. You can go to motionysis.com. you can sign up. It's been free for a while, but it's starting to cost some money for the servers and all the storage with all the videos and everything. So I had just to kind of like add I added a pay option just for like to upload like bigger videos and like more videos and stuff like that. So it's like $5 a month, but you can just, if you want just to do it for a few days, you can just sign up and then cancel immediately.
It's an amazing product. Don't undersell it. It's worth $5 a month. All right, Jared?
Yeah. But I mean, I don't like, it's super easy just to cancel. Even if you sign up now, you pay the $5 and then you just cancel immediately, then you have it for a month and then you can just do your thing and just forget about it. So,
hey, Kristoff, how do you spell the URL? What's the address? Spell it correctly.
Motionysis. It's MOTONYSIS.com.
Motionysis. MOTIONYSIS.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's motion. It's the end of analysis. So
okay. Now let's blend this. Meg, unmute yourself. You're on. How are we going to use motion assist with our swim video analysis, which is launching today?
So we are going to use those same great features that Christophe just explained.
Do we need to have Kristoff stop sharing his screen?
Should I stop my screen? Yep.
Yes.
I'm good. I think we've got mine up now.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
Okay.
I have a swimmer here that with our video analysis, we film 3 different views from underwater and 1 from above in the bird's eye view.
So now, Meg, when people say, I want the Tower 26 swim video analysis, what's the protocol? What are you going to send them?
So first of all, we'll send them directions on how to shoot their videos, how to capture the videos, because it needs to be pretty specific so that we can get the swimmer in a great shot. So I do actually have an example of like right here. That's not a good shot. If you can see on the screen, it's half of a lane line and half of the actual swimmer. So we're trying to make sure that the directions are very clear for people to give us great videos when they're shooting them themselves so that we can make it a really efficient and clean process for everybody involved. So we can also edit out certain things with the software that we have, but with those 4 different videos, we start with the pillars of Tower 26. So tautness, alignment, and propulsion. And that's what we're looking at initially. So it's wonderful for us as coaches with motion assist because we can show someone right away in a Zoom call when we're doing the review with the athlete exactly what they're doing incorrectly. And then as Kristoff mentioned, we can also mark up ahead of time before we see the athlete with comments and then communicate with them within this system as well. So if there's a particular area where we need to work on, which would be the banana shaped swimmer that we're looking at right here, we can talk about how the left hip, we see that position out there swinging to the left, how that affects the legs, the rest of the body, and the total alignment. And so with the deliverables, you'll get the voice recording of the Zoom meeting when we go over the analysis with the athlete, and then they'll get all of these other examples, areas that they need to continue to work on. And then we also have suggested ways that people can fix them based on the Tower 26 videos that Gerry and you have put together over the years. So there are corrective takeaways from the analysis with the one-on-one coach.
So they're going to write you, say, Meg, I want some video analysis. You send them the protocol. Here, they take their video. They take their 3 angles. They send it to you. You said, these videos look like crap. Send them again. All right, they send their videos again. You put them into motion assist. You mark them up. You add comments. Do you send it back to them, or what's the next step?
We schedule a Zoom call so that we can go over the videos live. So we really want to explain to the athlete what is occurring. So if I just gave them this video right here, as an example, there's a red circle around this gentleman's hand. We need to talk about that position, the incorrectness of it, why. So what he needs to do is have more hand tension. He has a little bit too much of a bend in his wrist, and it's not very actually taut from the elbow to the fingertips. So we need to talk about what's the problem and how are we going to fix it. So that's what we talk about in the Zoom recording. Then they get that as a takeaway so that they can reference back to the video and the explanations, and then also that written deliverable with other links to Tower 26 corrective videos.
So we're not just saying you suck at swimming, see you later. We're saying you suck, this is how you fix it.
Exactly.
Beautiful. And you would
There's
never say you suck. Gerry might say that. I might say that. Christophe might say that. But Megan would never say that.
Yeah. You also, like, Megan, you can share the URL like you have here with the your client if you wanted to, so that they can kind of like see back the video and all the comments you have on the side. Because like the URL that you have here with the just the video, that's unique for every video, so that if they create an account, it's free, and then they can just see that back if they want, just to look at the pictures again, or like
they can review it on their own time.
On the site. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Perfect.
Or after the Zoom call.
Yes, and then after 30 days, we ask that the athlete submits another round of videos so that we can compare. And it's great in this program as well, Kristoff, that you have a comparison option. So we can literally take the same shot from the first video to fast forward 30 days later and show the athlete potentially how they've corrected that particular problem.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I have that in.
Yeah, it's a great.
I forgot to mention that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna do side by side and just like overlay images. So
yeah, you can overlay.
Upgrade. That's an upgraded feature from the last time we talked about this. That's you.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the comments were that's kind of recent too. Yeah, but.
So you can go side by side. You can overlay. So there's a ton of different features, and it's just all inclusive of breaking down that stroke. You know, if you back it up, breaking down that bike fit to make things perfect for you. And you know, this is a full. I mean, Megan has built a full, well-rounded protocol here that's going to make you a better swimmer. Gerry, what do you think? This is pretty intense, huh?
Well, it took us, Jim, as you know, a couple of years of starts and stops with different types of technology, and that we tried and it didn't work because we had to think of this from a scalability perspective. And then, of course, like you said, it took Megan coming in and making this happen. Well, and Kristoff tweaking his software further to even make it more tailored to our needs too.
Well, the diving board and the pool were already there, thanks to Kristoff. So all I needed to do is, push Jim and Gerry, push you guys.
Okay, so how are we going to roll this out? Are we rolling it out to the millions of listeners we have? What's the now? What do we do to get people in touch with this program?
So first and foremost, the first release will be to Tower 26 members. So people that are currently on the online subscription program, our triathletes, as well as our in-person local swimmers. So they will be emailed with the opportunity to jump in first, and they'll get an email from us with a link on how to actually sign up. And then we'll roll through the next phase with opening it up to the masses.
Beautiful. And if the masses want information on it, what should they do? Join our email list, or what's the deal?
Absolutely. Please join our email list. And if you have specific questions, you can email me, Megan, MEGAN, at tower26.com.
Oh boy, Gerry.
Kristoff will tell you never to do that.
Oh, you did it. You did it. Oh no, look out. All right, Megan, we'll see you next year after you're done answering all those emails. Good luck.
At tower26.com.
Contact at tower26.com. Let's say that. But hey, this has been some really good info. Kristoff, thank you for all you've done, man. It's just a blessing that you've been with Tower 26 and you've done as much as you've done. And I mean, next year, you racing is going to be some exciting stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. That's the fireworks I need to see.
Next year, you think so? I hope so. We'll see.
Next year. That's it. So, Gerry, are all your questions answered on our video analysis?
It's now a matter of execution. Let's get it rolling out. And Megan's testing a number of our location-based members right now. And I think you've done 7 or 8 of them in the last week or two. So then we'll get 20 or 30 of these done. And then we'll send out the invite to our subscription members, our paid subscription members, because we have some folks that are on pause because they have no pool access. So you guys are not going to get an invite yet. Once you're a paid customer, then that will be our first rollout, and we'll roll that out in phases because it's quite a few folks that we have.
Okay, so be on the lookout from your email. If you're not on our Tower 26 email list, go to tower26.com. Kristoff has built in an email right there. As soon as you go on to tower26.com, you get a pop-up. So join that email list, and you'll get some invites as we roll it out. But that's great. One thing I've always wanted to talk about that we always forget to talk about is OBS Try. OBS, O, B as in boy, S as in Sam, TRI.com is what Christophe built that I use pretty much every single day, even during
every single day. Yes,
every day.
Absolutely.
And he put together this site that tallies all the individual athletes' results that they've ever had in an Ironman or half Ironman race, and it puts it into one spot. OBSTry.com. I mean, it's genius. Thank you.
And
thank you for that, Jerry. I mean,
Christophe, yeah. One of the things that's great about that website, the way he created, because I would say, Christophe, I need to be able to compare Jim's Ironman races with, pick a name. Christophe's Ironman races with Cam Worth. Why not? And he showed me how to do that, and here it is. I just got 2 columns of Jim and Cam Worth. And for a while there, Jim, you were smoking him on all the runs. Just in the last year or so, may have gotten a step or two.
I've been helping build the Tower 26 triathlon program. I got bigger fish to fry than little triathlons. You know what I'm saying? I'll be back. 2021's my year. Worth, I'm coming for you. So thanks for that, guys. OBS Try, Motionysis. Look out for the emails from Megan. We got a lot of stuff going on right now. So, Jerry, let's get to the workout of the episode before further ado.
Absolutely.
Go to coaching.tower26.com, the site that Christophe built. The workouts Megan's building. And what's the workout of today? Christophe, if you want to hang around, you can hang around. You can take off.
That's fine. Yeah. I'll hang around. No problem.
And by the way, I forgot to send this to you, Christophe, and I don't know if you then send it to Megan, but it's workout number 817 on your built out software program. So workout 817. And Jim, we did this last week. Megan, you were there. And again, we've been building up over the last several weeks. This is our 7th week in, so this would have been 6 weeks in. We did this particular workout. And again, these are shorter workouts. They're crisp, so I'll just go through a piece of it. You can go to coaching.tower26.com we'll make this the free workout, okay, for the episode. So that one will be opened up free to you because all the other workouts are closed. You have to be a paid subscriber, but we'll make this free. So there are a couple of warm-up sections to it, and then we got into a main set, and I'll just go through the main set. We had 8 swims, Jim. And Megan, actually, I think you did this workout. So there were 8 swims. And the distance varies depending on your level. So if you were like Megan's level, who can swim a minute per 100, you would be level 1. And all the way to the folks swimming 2 to 3 minutes per 100, that would be level 4. So it's scaled according to levels. So 8 swims with your particular distance prescribed to you. And all we did was a very simple effort progression. The first 2 were at 70% effort. The next 2, numbers 3 and 4, were at 75%. Numbers 5 and 6 were at 80% effort. Numbers 7 and 8 were 85% effort. So 70, 75, 80, 85% progression by groups of 2. And we had a rest period of 20 to 30 seconds rest between each of those. But the key focus was what we wanted athletes, Jim, to remember were numbers 5 and 6. Those were the ones at 80% output. So you had to get your times, remember your times in all of them, all 8, but in particular, numbers 5 and 6. And for super fit athletes, numbers 7 and 8 would be ideal. So if you were really fit, remember your times in numbers 7 and 8. If you're still building in fitness, 5 and 6 became your important ones. After that, we did a little recovery set. We pulled for about 8 minutes working on recovery and technique. And then we came back and we did 8 more again. On the second round of 8, you had to repeat the times. If you were the super fit athlete, you had to repeat the times you did of numbers 7 and 8 on all of them, all 8 this time. So you had to sustain that 85% output on all 8 repetitions. And for those who are a little less fit, it would be times from numbers 5 and 6 and so on. So it was build effort on the first round, recovery that was the middle portion, and then come back in the last portion of that main set and sustain that upper aerobic 85% output, just like you do, Jim, and many of your bike workouts that I've been doing.
Yeah, it's all about that percentage effort, right? And depending on where you're at in that fitness ability level. I know that swim, when I did it, holy cow, I was ripping off, 1 minute pace, no problem.
Yes, just like how I run a 4-minute mile for about 400 yards.
So we do a 2 p.m. call with all of our athletes every Tuesday, right? Meg, you know about this. Christophe, we do this 2 p.m. call every Tuesday. So last week we're doing the call, and I had a question of my own, but I phrased it like it was a question from the masses who are calling in. I said, "Hey, I just started swimming. I'm having a tough time with a feel for my water, for the water. How do I remedy that?" And Jerry looks perplexed. He goes, "Wait a minute, that's none of my athletes that I'm coaching now. Jim, is this question from you? How did you know that?" It was my question. I came up with it because I haven't been swimming at all. I've been leading bike and run sessions all the time. I can't get down to El Segundo every day and a half. So it's just like two men, one brain. I say it all the time.
It's your other wife, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, come on. I got my baby right here. It takes a village.
One's enough.
That's great. So there you go. Coaching.tower26.com. Go check out that workout. It's going to be open to you guys to see the audio and the video file. So check that out. Let's bring us to the questions of the episode. Remember, if you guys have questions, go to contact.tower26.com. Meg, do you have the Google Doc right in front of you? Why don't you ask this first question, since this question actually came in to you?
Oh, give me just a second.
Come on. Get on your game. Let's go. Get that up.
You go first, Jim.
Okay, so she had Daniel write in. She says, hey, guys, I'm planning to do the 1K and the 100-meter time trial in the next few weeks to get a base number for the year. Is it okay to use the tempo trainer for the TTs? And the second part of the question is, if so, what percentage effort should I plan to have for each of the two different distances?
Yeah, Daniel, hey, great question. And Jim, that's a question we get asked quite a few times from new subscription members, so folks now coming in. And of course, so think of this in terms of your 100-yard or your 100-meter time trial. That would be similar to running 400 meters on the track. It's approximately the same amount of time. So if you were running one lap around the track, given that the body can be completely anaerobic for about 20 seconds before starting to explode, you need to have some amount of pacing built in, since you're going to be anywhere from a minute, if you're a very good runner, to run a quarter mile, all the way up to maybe 3 minutes if you're a 12-minute mile runner. So given that you have an effort that's between 1 minute and 3 minutes, you still have to do some moderation of dispensing effort accordingly. But still, you're in that 90% heart rate range, definitely, or higher. If you're super fit, even higher for the short distance. Of course, when you get to the 1,000 yards or 1,000 meters, that's equivalent to perhaps, Jim, what would we say, probably a 3 to 4K run, somewhere in that range, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So again, if you're running a 3,000 meter run, how would you pace yourself for that? Well, you're going to be fairly conservative initially, because you need to spread out your effort over 10 to 20 minutes. So it'll be a much more conservative approach while trying to be consistent along the way. And of course, yes, I would recommend using a tempo trainer, because that's a good guide, especially in your longer effort, and it'll keep your cadence consistent all the way through. But the thing is, on the shorter effort, you really have to know what cadence to set that at, because if you're not used to doing high output efforts, 90 to 100% efforts, where cadence is actually naturally higher, you might not have your tempo trainer set at the right beat tone.
Yeah, we go back. I mean, how many, like 30 episodes ago, we spoke about tempo trainers. So go back and listen to that one.
Yep.
You figure out what episode that is. Don't talk to me like that. All right, now, Meg, I'll give you another chance. What's the next, do we have a next comment? What's the next question? Let me get you involved here.
Sure. Thanks, Jim. All right. Well, this one's from Matt, and he is reporting in, being new to swimming for about 2 months. I've never done a workout like this. I think he was referring to the one last week that we just mentioned, number 817. I basically used YouTube for drills and felt like I was swimming empty laps. I truly loved the workout and actually felt like I had a purpose while in the pool. So thanks,
hey, Matt. Yeah. Jim, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
No, I was just breathing. That's it. Just bring in an oxygen. That's it.
Well, I'm so used to just take.
It's like 9,000 degrees in my house right now, so I'm just trying to get air in.
It is.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, thanks for the comment in. Here's the thing, Matt. This is fairly common with many athletes that do just that. Go to YouTube, get some drills, and then go to the swimming pool and do drills mainly. Well, if you were going to go out and run for the first time, you don't go out and do running drills. You go out and slowly build up over a dozen sessions or so over 3 or 4 weeks, where you build some specific muscular endurance for running. Well, we need to do the same thing for swimming. You need to swim 30, 40 minutes for several weeks, about 10 sessions, so you build up specific muscular endurance so you can then absorb any technical changes that you want to ask upon the body to make. Without any specific endurance, it's almost near to impossible to make good technical changes, and therefore change the foundation technique pieces of your training, so of your swim stroke. So glad you joined in. You'll get a blend of both of those in our workouts, training.
And if you want more information on those high value sets, triathlon swimming, master open water swimming with the Tower 26 method, available on Amazon.com or Velopress.com.
You would think you wrote that book, huh?
Huh? You know what? I may as well. A ghostwriter, Jim.
Yep.
Says Jerry, but you know it means Jim. All right, and then we had one race report. We actually had a race report come in, which is exciting because there's nothing going on right now. So we had Debbie write in that Debbie Schiffer wrote in that she swam a do-it-yourself Olympic try in Santa Cruz, 1,720 yards in 30 minutes. She said in June during another do-it-yourself Olympic triathlon that was canceled, my time was 39 minutes and 48 seconds. So this is a huge improvement. I mean, that's almost 10 minutes. What a massive improvement since I've joined Tower 26 and following the plan. Amazing. I can't believe the difference. Several people from North Cal Tri Group are also looking forward to joining the Tower 26 plan. Thank you so much for giving me the tools and excellent sessions to make me a more efficient swimmer. I can't thank you enough. My coach is the best! Exclamation point. I'm not Debbie's coach, but I'm sure she's talking about me. But hey, so we just put it in, not to pat our back, not to, I'm sure Debbie's getting plenty of kudos out there, but it's exciting to have a race report.
No, it's great. And Debbie, thanks for writing in that comment. And also, when the world reopens, of course, it's always best, depending on the program, obviously, but it's always good to have in-person coaching. So since you're in Northern California, our good buddy Matt Dixon is up there. When pools reopen, he also has Matt Dixon from Purple Patch. That's purplepatchfitness.com. He has his live workouts that he coaches, and I consider Matt to be one of the best triathlon coaches worldwide, and that would be a place that you can get some good supervision. But until then, certainly welcome into our program and have your friends come on in and join us.
It's exciting. Thanks for letting us know. And keep those questions coming. Contact at tower26.com. Keep the race reports coming. Right now in this time and day and age, it's exciting to hear those gains are still happening despite the situation we're in. What are we going to talk about next episode, Jer? Come on, think on your feet.
Well, I'm going to pass that off to Megan. Megan is our
the boss,
the one making sure that we get these done. So
we need to get her a T-shirt that says "I'm the boss, I'm the chief."
I'll partner up with Madeline, boss baby.
Boss baby. Yep.
Well, we have been talking about nutrition for a long time on several of the past podcasts, so I think we'll set that up for the next go.
Well, all Oreos all the time, right?
Well, maybe some greens, maybe some other things, but
never. All right. Well, it's been fun, guys. It's about time we got back on the airwaves. I'm excited. I always get jacked up for this. Jer, any last parting thoughts from you?
Hey, Jim, it's always great to have you running these for us. You keep it entertaining. And by the way, what you didn't talk about, which I wish we did, and we could go into the next episode, Megan, about it, is that we do need to talk about your bike workouts a little bit more, because you've done such an amazing job. You even have me on the bike out there with you now in the morning at 5:45 on my bike. So, yep, it's just great. You put every Peloton coach to shame.
Thank you. I'm humbled. Thank you very much. I'm having a blast doing it, and I'm doing 2 workouts Tuesday and Thursday, and I get jacked up for each one. So it's fun times. Let's talk about that in another episode, though. Christophe, parting words from you. You want to say bye to your masses of programming friends out there?
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure they're all still listening right now.
Say hi to my programming friends. I have so many. It was. Thank you for having me. It was fun.
Remember,
and, I hope people will enjoy Motionysis.
Go to Motionysis. Go to obstry.com, motionysis.com. Plenty of different links out there. We'll put the links in the show notes for all those as well. So some really good info that he's providing, and it's exciting to have a little new information shot into the triathlon space. So thanks for that, Coach Meg. Thanks for everything you've done on swim video analysis. Remind everyone, if they want the swim video analysis, look at the email. If you have questions, contact at tower26.com. Anything else?
That's right. Look forward to swimming with you guys.
All right, guys. Exciting times. For Jerry Rodriguez, Christophe Balestra, Megan Melgaard, and Boss Baby Madeline. This is Tower 26 Be Race Ready Podcast. Coach Jim out.